I haven't heard that since my kids were little. And thank you for bringing back those
and you've never heard it like
memories.
That. Yeah. Thanks for the copyright strike, YouTube.
Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. NPD, Dan here.
Mick here. Hello and welcome. 4 pedals that are new to us. They may be new to the market. We're never quite sure. Such as the nature of our fingers on pulses.
Indeed. TPS, never knowingly first.
Before that, some housekeeping.
Thank you so much for joining us. Please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Massive thank you to anyone that's gone to thatpedalshowstore.com and grabbed some merch. Pedals and t-shirts and hats and strings and all the other lovely things.
All that stuff. Thatpedalshop.com and patreon.com/thatpedalshow. All ways in which you can support the show. Thank you. Without further ado, pedals today, Daniel, are...
We have the Maestro Agena envelope filter.
We have the Mythos Pedals Cestus treble booster.
We have the Aclam Woman Tone.
And we have the TC Electronic Bucket Brigade.
I'm waiting for someone to bring out an analog delay called the Charlie Bucket.
Charlie Bucket?
Yeah.
Is that a character from a...
Yes, sorry. It's a Roald Dahl. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
So
Charlie Bucket.
Charlie Bucket.
All of his dreams come true.
Yeah. Well, you could do a whole
Charlie
range,
Bucket
couldn't
Brigade.
you? And the Veruca Salt. What was this? Augustus Gloop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Veronica. Was there Veronica? Who chewed the chewing gum?
Yes.
Violet.
Beauregard.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Sorry if we've missed anyone from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
And if you're new, welcome to TPS.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah, we had an experience day on Friday. We've both had fairly crazy weekends and now it's Monday. So Agena envelope filter then. Maestro pedals, the rebirthed Maestro pedals from Gibson. Gibson is the owner of the brand. It's an analog envelope filter.
Yes.
It has a high mode and a low mode, which accentuates higher frequencies or lower frequencies. And we'll get into the controls as we go. Amps today, Tone King Imperial Mark II and a PRS HDRX20. Interestingly enough, on a Celestion Alnico Cream 1x12.
And it sounds rather glorious.
Yeah, together. Both amps kind of on the edge, as you'll hear when we get into the Cestus in a minute. All right, then, envelope filter then, Dan. Come on Just to explain the controls then, the sense is the sensitivity to the pick attack. So Dan, if you just pick at a constant rate. course, I didn't mean rate, I meant amplitude.
Yes.
Stronger the signal, the lower you have the sensitivity, and so if you've got weak pickups, you can turn it around a bit, or if you don't hit that hard, it'll open the envelope
absolutely
with a softer touch.
Yeah, and you might only want it to open when you really dig in. So you just set the sensitivity where you like it.
The attack controls how fast it opens.
Yes.
And the decay controls how long it stays open for.
Beautiful.
So let's see how long it might stay open for then. So that second mode, much more vocal.
Yeah.
And I guess one or the other is going to suit your tone and the guitar you're playing.
Yeah, and the amps and stuff.
I sort of feel like it would be appropriate.
Oh, very nice. Fiddly-ba-ba-ba. Very nice.
With apologies for the waka waka, but
Mix bringing the funk.
that's really cool.
It's great.
I think the challenge with an envelope filter is just finding that bit where it opens right where you want it to.
Yeah.
And, with regard to the controls there. Just try that low mode a sec. Might be a bit more vocal.
Great. I just want to try it into the Aclam.
Nice.
So by altering your attack, you can almost use it like a tone control.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah. And almost, instead of doing it with your foot, you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Waka chiki, waka waka waka.
Okay, nice.
Very good.
We should probably do an envelope filter show again. The last one we did was ages ago.
Yeah.
And since then there have been some additions, so would make sense.
Great.
Right then, Cestus from Mythos. Zach had a treble booster, the Cestus, in the range and apparently discontinued it for various reasons. Then when they did the RJ Ronquillo Sus Mariosep pedal,
Yeah.
he wanted a treble booster in it, and they revisited the circuit
Right.
as just a boost
Okay.
And so he has reissued it, given that he revisited the circuit.
Okay. Did you ever watch Seinfeld?
No.
Okay. Then it won't make any sense to you. They had a thing called Festivus, and that just reminds me of Cestus.
Oh, okay.
It's the Christmas alternative. Festivus for the rest of us. That's like Cestus for the rest of us. Like the Treble booster for the rest of us.
Okay. Presumably some sort of Norse or Greek mythological character, I would imagine. That's usually the way it works with Zach, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, looks that way, obviously, because it's Rangemaster inspired with those colours. But what's really cool about it is it's got a 3-way toggle switch, which gives you that aggressive high-end treble boost somewhere in the middle, and then more bass frequencies. Dan, you like treble boosters?
I love treble boosters.
Come on then, let's hear it with some single coilages first.
Okay, so what I'll do, I'll put the Woman Tone on without that to start with, so you can hear, because I needed to slam into an overdrive pedal. A treble booster on its own is so harsh. So unless it's goosing something that's got a bit of gain, it's tricky.
I don't know. I was playing it earlier.
No, go back to that. I want to hear that with the telly. That's amazing.
Just to prove Dan right with what he was about to say as I went in with the Leicester.
Okay, so what's really interesting...
It didn't prove him right, by the way. And the reason is because it's pushing the amps into overdrive.
It is.
Because the amps are just on the edge.
But it's also, we are pushing the transistor in that beyond, like into distortion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Interestingly enough, it's a silicon transistor as well. The original Rangemaster was germanium, but in order to... guarantee production numbers, he's tweaked the circuit and moved to silicon, which in a fuzz, in all other things being equal, tends to be a little bit more aggressive in the upper mids.
Yeah.
Which you'd think would be the worst thing for a treble booster, but actually, that's sitting beautifully, isn't it?
No, it's wonderful. We'll go on to the Aclam Woman Tone because the other, I want to hear this into a pedal. So. This is the Aclam Woman Tone. The phrase woman tone, I guess, was popularised by Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that the artwork is reminiscent of his Fool guitar.
It's not just reminiscent. It's done by the leader of the Fool collective. So
there's a Fool collective.
Well, no, in the 60s there was an art movement called the Fool.
Oh.
And that's why the guitar is called the Fool. And it was painted by them. And
by them?
It was a group of people. The Fool was a group of artists, I believe.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Anyway, the leader of the art collective was one Marik or Marieke. It's I think they're from the Netherlands, maybe, but Marijke. Marieke Koga. She's the former leader of the art collective The Fool, and she did the artwork.
That is amazing.
How cool is it? Yeah, because it's inspired directly by Clapton's tones. So that the LED that's on at the moment is the sound of his SG into a plexi, apparently.
Okay.
And then the other button is the aforementioned woman tone, a phrase coined by Eric himself, I believe.
Okay. Right. Well, here we go. So this is just volume and gain. The tone is in the gauge at this point. How awesome!
Pretty mega. So the way he did it back in the day was either treble pickup. Well, it could have been any pickup selection, but up full with the tone down completely. One of my favourite versions of it is the middle position.
So show me how you would get that tone from that guitar without...
Yeah. Well, so one of my favourite ways to do it is middle position of a four pot Gibson. Sorry, two humbucker, four pot Gibson. Everything up full.
Yeah.
But then turn the treble tone down.
Okay, so just play...
Yeah, stick it on. And everything's up full now, okay? That's Eric going, please stop playing my licks. Or at least play them properly. And then what I'll then do is I will now turn the neck pickup down just a touch, and it should get more vocal again. So just for the record, we're currently full up on both volumes.
Yep.
full up on the neck tone, but down on the bridge tone.
Okay.
And the only change I'm going to make is I'm going to turn the neck pickup from 10 to about 8 or 7.
Okay.
What I really like about the way the pedal does it is by turning this all the way down, you also lose a bit of upper mid gain. So
Right.
you lose gain as well. So I'll just go in, I'll turn all the tone pots back up to 10. We're 10, 10, 10 all across the board, except this one, which is down a bit. And then we'll switch in the woman tone on there, if you wouldn't mind, Daniel.
Yeah, yeah.
Just once you've heard it. Actually prefer that in a big way
Yeah.
because it's you retain the gain.
So
You lose a lot of gain by turning it down from the guitar.
yeah, what's interesting about the way they've done it, it's very unlike a traditional tone stack, which simply it filters off top end. That is more like a balance between input impedance and a very specific
Interesting.
frequency, because that's what's happening when you do the stuff with your tone control. It's not just about the tone control on guitar, but it alters input impedances and
Yeah.
stuff, or impedances from the guitar. And it's one of those things that's really difficult to do because a lot of that stuff also relies on the cable from the guitar. It's just basically this massive low pass filter, the way that the tone controls. So it's basically lobbing off a big thing here.
Load of high end, yeah.
Exactly. And then it's hitting that and then getting, normally hits an overdrive pedal and those frequencies aren't there to start with.
Yeah,
right?
so that's happening
That's
presumably
happening
after the
at
overdrive.
that end.
Yeah.
So it's,
So you get all the overdrive.
yeah, exactly. So it's that they must have that right at the input of the gain stage. Yeah, really nice.
Very
Really
cool.
nice.
Let's just hear it as a normal overdrive pedal for a minute then, or a normal distortion pedal, and we'll hit it with a Cestus to see how it fares in that
Yeah.
environment. I'll just let you hear it with some humbuckers for a second, and then we'll try the Cestus. see how much it'll clean up a sec?
Oh, man. Wow.
Sorry, I just want to try this.
You were getting some Soundgarden, Kim Tail type tones there. That was awesome.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of their gain stagey pedals on. They did the Revolver, modeled after the old Vox
Was it
solid
called?
state amp.
No, it was called the Dr. Robert.
The
Wasn't
Dr. Robert, that's the one.
Yeah, that's as good a plexi distortion-y as I've heard in yonks, and requires essentially two knobs to get it. Really like that.
Yeah,
like
me
the
too.
way it's crispy up on the top end.
It's one thing to get a pedal to sit in the sonic space of an amplifier. Quite another thing to get it to feel like an amp. That's really cool.
It's excellent. It's
Yeah.
really excellent. Just in case you think there's more pots underneath the two cutouts to each side there, that's not. They're screws by which you can mount to your pedal board if you want.
Yeah, they've got a pedal board mounting system. And so these little T clamps come down and you can mount it.
Nice.
Yeah. Very good.
Okay, good showing so far then. Bucket Brigade delay then from TC Electronic. I don't want to say ludicrously inexpensive because it's, still a bit of cash in these times, but it is a whopping 59 quid currently, I think, from the leading retailers in the UK at least, Anderton's included, which is, look at it. It looks like a premium product. It's from a premium brand and it's 59 quid. Let's see if it sounds like 59 quid.
Yes, indeed. I'm going to put the telly back on just to get some...
I'm going to put the telly on like it's a piece of clothing. What are you wearing today, darling? Daniel wears Telecaster by Fender.
I wear a 65 telly.
I just wanted to get the inevitable self-oscillating bit out of the way first, just to see if it would.
Great.
And it will. So, sorry, as you were, mate. Just give us that skank again. Let's just hear the delay. So that's really dark.
Really dark.
You heard just I'll set the delay time shorter, put the feedback up a little bit higher. Listen to how much top end it cuts off. Try that again. So it's the same in the modulation mode as it is in the standard mode.
Yeah.
It's immediately dark, which is one of the reasons why Dan was playing something, for those of you who aren't really into delay and maybe don't know a lot about delay, when the repeats go off dark like that, it means that it just gets out of the way of your tone immediately. And it's one of the reasons why analog delays are loved so much. If you think about the old Ibanez ones, the original Boss DM2, Electro Harmonics, Memory Man, and more recently the MXR Carbon Copy is probably
That's the benchmark.
among the market leading analog delays. So this sits very much in that world. You heard it's 600 milliseconds is the longest delay. Let's just hear how short it will go a minute.
Oh, turn the modulation on for me. Oh, come on.
So you hear what's going on there? Dan's getting a bit of flange going on because it's...
Dad's getting all excited.
Yeah.
I do love that. I do love that. There's a really lovely mid-range. So some analog delays, it depends on how they filter their repeats. But that, because it's quite dark, I think they're filtering off quite a bit of bottom end to keep it pokey.
Yeah.
And for that short delay, it works so well.
It's really cool noise. I just want to have a quick listen to the modulation a minute. Sits in a really lovely place for me. And finally, just see what we think of the slap. very, very inspiring sounds to play today. I don't know if that's just because we both had weekends of whatever, but I feel like I want to play all those pedals.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and this differs from, person to person.
Day to day. Some days you want to,
Yeah.
but today.
But there are some things that instantly I'm like, I can't find the place. I can find the place in every single one of those pedals.
Yeah.
Really nice. Really, 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 really cool. I'm particularly, well, all of it actually. I was going to say the Woman Tone. Just sits in a great place.
Yeah, it's a hard one to get right because if you're going to call it Woman Tone, you got to get it right.
And the danger is, if you call it that, you might assume that's the only thing it does.
Yeah.
And far from it. That whole last section, we didn't have the woman bit engaged.
I generally am not a fan of pedals with names or advertised as in say this is the way to get this person's tone. I generally think that's not right. But with this design, I don't know what else you'd call it because it's specifically around that. You know what I mean?
I know.
And the other thing,
I wonder if Eric's getting a royalty.
Yeah, right. Because the other thing about that sound,
I'd call it the clapped out.
the other thing about that sound is like in the middle of a solo, it's really hard to whip to that thing. Whereas that's, you can preset that up on a foot switch, which is really nice. The full guitar, so the SG that he had painted, XTC were recording Skylarking with Todd Rundgren in the States. And they're in the studio and they're doing stuff and Dave Gregory looks over in the corner and there's an SG just sat on a stand that's all painted. And Dave says to Todd, that's not the full guitar. And Todd goes, yeah. And it's just sat there. Like, old strings and just sort of neglected, sit in the corner. And Dave said to Todd, do you mind if I use the guitar on the album? I said, yeah, whatever. He said, I'm going to have to put some new strings on it, though. I said, yeah, it's fine. He puts some new strings on it and records the solo from Supergirl.
No way.
So that solo from Supergirl is recorded on the full guitar.
Yeah. He famously bought it from Clapton, didn't he?
Yeah. And just let it
just
sort of sit in the corner just to look at every now and then.
I don't know where it is now.
Amazing.
Cool. Whose turn is it, Dan?
I think it's yours.
Is it?
I believe so.
Okay.
I think what we're going to need to do with the Bucket Brigade, the Charlie Bucket Brigade, is that we're going to have to grab there's a whole bunch of new analog delays out.
Yeah.
Let's get them all up together because I think for people who are looking to get into analog delay, it's such a beautiful thing. It's such very different than digital delays that, I think people think that just that simple analog delay can be quite limiting, but it's such a wonderful, wonderful sound. There's so many flavors of that available now. So I think we should grab a whole bunch of them, stick them on the board and go through it. But yes, please, sir.
Okay.
That's beautiful. Bye.